I want to say that a psyche ward should deal with the mind, and quite a lot of them are like prisoner of war guards with goose steppers and goons stuff in the wards. Now, it says something that if you notice, it's consistently the same staff that get attacked by ill patients. The ones that are compassionate do not get attacked unless the patient is really poorly. Now, I know why this is. It's a matter of comfort from the patients. Now, some people that try and prove they're hard and play the role of goose steppers will get the brunt of the attacks. Now, I want to state that I do not feel that psych wards in Lancashire Care Foundation Trust make any attempt to deal with the mind. Now, a team leader on Keats says who knows when asked her about the mind, the subconscious. Now, I did say in front of Sarah, Jill and Frank, I was experimenting with dreams. They didn't understand what I was meaning. Now, I want to explain it in this recording, and it's now got to 1 minute 35 seconds. Now, I want to explain that when this team leader said who knows when I'm talking about the subconscious, that I have been spiked with acid a couple of times in the RAF and had a drug-induced psychosis twice and got a medical discharge with the rash diagnosis of schizophrenia. It was a drug-induced psychosis twice, which it is documented and made 2 complete recoveries from, and I got referred with phobic anxiety to Dr. Maiden, who was sent to prison, and I believe, although I haven't seen the notes, he gave me a diagnosis to cover his crimes. And there is too much gormlessness in Lancashire Care Foundation Trust to distinguish between his gossip in 1979, which he used to give me a deluded diagnosis to cover the crimes he committed on me and others. He got sent to prison, and evidence. Now, I want to give you a number of examples about how the mind has not been dealt with. When I was on the Rebel ward, there was a patient, an Asian patient, walking around, disturbing the patients doing shadow boxing movements. He was obviously punching his hallucinations. He was unsettled. He was frightened. A staff nurse told him to sit down instead of dealing with his mind. She took the role of a goose stepper. Now, you can't march if your mind isn't right. Now, the thing is, when I caught his eye, I said, "What you doing, Carol?" He sat down. He couldn't answer it. Now, later that night, I was thanked all night long by a wonderful nursing assistant on Rebel wards, saying I was making the staff's job easier. I was doing a running commentary to what I was doing. Now, Carol was allowed to go in my room with the light on and the door open because the staff saw I was settling him down and they were out of the depth. Now, basically, me and Carol were talking about general chit-chat about general things, including music, which I had a CD player in my room and CDs. We were talking mainly about Dylan, which everybody knows I have my Irish humanist views. Now, Carol would not go into his room because he thought it was full of demons. He was poorly. He was hallucinating. Now, while he was in my room, I sneaked over the corridor. His room was directly opposite mine, and tidied his bedroom up and made it spotless. Now, he didn't notice I'd done this, even though there was a vast improvement. He was poorly. Now, when he came out into the corridor and didn't notice that I'd tidied his room or whatever, made his bed, and I went into the toilet recess just to the left of the door that you can't see into from outside the door, turned the light on, made some noise with the toilet roll by banging it up and down, came out and says, "Right, Carol, I've twatted them," meaning the demons, and I'm doing a running commentary to the staff all night long. Now, what happened was, it took him maybe, that's a guess, I mean, I have said in the past 20 minutes, but it might have been about 10, but it was quite a number of times, because he thought he was going into the hell, that the two staff nurses were abusing him, guilty of deliberate psychiatric abuse, starting up the ward, ordering into his own hell. Now, I have told him I've twatted the demons. He's curious and takes about at least 10 minutes, it may have been 20 minutes, to build up the courage to go in. Wouldn't you, going into hell? Now, he goes in, goes round his bedroom, doesn't notice it's tidied up, but he's comfortable there because it is tidy, and goes in the toilet recess last, comes out, I have a yellow 3-button t-shirt on, comes out of his room, smiles at me, hugs me, steps back and says, "You're an angel, aren't you? I'm doing this running commentary all night long." Now, the two staff nurses on Ribble Ward at this point came in, curious. Now, basically, they offered me lorazepam for this. It's bizarre. He's not dealing with a man. These were being goons, prisoners of war guards. Now, what happened was, there was a line playing from Dear Landlord just at that point when I quoted it just as it was playing from my CD player. "Please don't underestimate me, and I won't underestimate you." One of the staff nurses, and they both come up, for no reason at all, said, "Is that a threat?" and offered me lorazepam. I said, "I'm not taking lorazepam because it puts me in a legal position I don't want to be in, but I won't hurt you if you give me the injection, which is inevitable." I get sent down to Peop at the same time as Nick, who had been begging for a yoghurt or a sandwich and had no pancreas, at 8 o'clock at night, witnessed by 9 patients. I've mentioned it to a staff nurse. She said, "You don't know the whole story." I said, "I do know he has no pancreas." At 5:30 in the morning, Nick gets up. He's still begging for a yoghurt or a sandwich. He had his head on the floor. Now, this is not giving him peace of mind to make a mental recovery. He had the therapy of making one cheesecake in 6 months of being made to sit in a cupboard. Now, I met him in the Peace Garden, and despite several other operations, he was a happier man when I went for a mental health assessment to Blackpool. I met him in the Peace Garden there. I've got his phone number. Now, and another episode was when Dr. Vishnu takes Kabir on the bowling unit into a review, and Kabir comes out freaked. He wasn't freaked before Vishnu had got his hands on him. And now, basically, he came out, screamed hot air into my face, prayed in his own language skywards, so I was told by the staff. Then I had to repair the damage that Vishnu did, seen by everybody. I put my arm around him, coaxed him to the bowling unit lounge, put a nation dance music channel on, and had him dancing with a wonderful nursing assistant called Paula Rutherford. So basically, it shouldn't have to be like this. They shouldn't have to have the mind distressed on a prisoner of war camp. Now, also, what happened on Keats was a number of times. Stuart, one of Tom Coates's patients, was seeing 15-foot lizards scared stiff, infesting the ward, and aliens around the roof of the garden. Now, basically, Stuart was my mate. I protected him physically and mentally. When another patient put a note under his nose, "I'm glad your sister's baby's dead." I made sure that this other patient who he was always fighting with didn't know that he had a bad neck, because he was vulnerable. Stuart did say to me, "Don't hit me, I'm half his size, but I have a presence and no fear." But there was no threat to Stuart. I was sticking up for him. Now, when Stuart pointed out where the first of his lizards were, I went over and booted where he pointed it were. He saw it fall over. I did it to about 8 of them, and I'd already put my rosary beads between the balustrade and the office. He was an Irish Catholic. It worked. In his mind, it blocked the only other way out. When I kicked about 12, he started joining in, kicking them. Then we chased them around like cowboys into the garden because it was the only way out. We rounded them up. They disappeared when he wasn't frightened of them. The aliens that were around the top of the garden in his mind, I just said, "Fuck off," and he saw him disappear. That's the trust they got in him. The staff didn't do this, and the antipsychotics didn't work. Now, his only concern was then the ward was shit. He was using my phone every quarter of an hour, day and night, ringing his dad up to get him off a shit ward. It were horrible. Now, David Woodburn, who had also, it looked like he'd been abused and had demons, one particularly called Andrew Ridgefield, who he was forever cursing. He was hallucinating quite a lot. Now, when Catherine Robinson, the team leader, said, "Who knows?" when I asked her about the subconscious, we were sat in the dining room in Keats. I said, "I'm going out in the garden, David, flicking my lighter, you'll see the leader of your demons fuck off into space." I flicked my lighter, he saw it go. His minor demons he told to get under, and he slept that night. He didn't sleep with the staff's antipsychotics and intrusion. Now, basically, when 3 uniforms went in without knocking, rudely, with a machine needle, a weapon, he was subdued for an hour and a half and was screaming louder after that. When I went in, I said, "David, there's a string out of tune on your air guitar. Can I come in and tune it?" If he'd have said no, I wouldn't have gone in. He said, "Yeah, come in." I was invited in. I said, "Are they here again?" Meaning his hallucinations or demons or whatever you want to call them. He says, "Yeah, can't you see him?" I said nothing, opened his window, said, "Fuck off," and he saw him go. I shut the window, he slept. When I was in seclusion, he escalated to more serious hospital and fell. A nursing assistant on Keats came and fobbed himself onto Orwell. "Steve, we needed you on Keats last night." I said, "What the fuck for?" He said, "To calm things down, things were chaos." Now, Luciano was dancing on the pool table, getting quite agitated and claiming he was possessed by the biggest motherfucker of them all, Ursula. Now, Ursula has been deleted. The possession of Ursula has been deleted from Google, the video. I have checked. Now, afterwards, when he came out of seclusion, I asked him if he knew who Ursula was, and he denied any knowledge of it, and he was being genuine. Now, when a restraint team came, I was already there with a cup full of what I told him was holy water from my tap. He told me to drink it. I did. I could have dealt with it better than the staff. They said let us do his job, and I had to watch them do it badly like goons and not deal with the mind. He thought Satan was in seclusion. They threw him in seclusion. I begged him, because of his mental state and his attitude towards the seclusion, not to send him to that seclusion, to be compassionate, and if he was going to seclusion, and at this time I didn't know I could intimidate a restraint team, and through compassion to Luciano I would have done if I'd have known it. I had to watch him do a job badly, because there were more of them than me, and he was settling down when the restraint team came, and they threw him into hell because he thought Satan was in seclusion. He was poorly. Now, deal with the mind. It's the psyche ward, the subconscious, dreams. Now, Luciano was having another episode in the activities room. He was freaking. This time I had other priorities, and the staff there would have let me deal with it. But there were 6 female members of staff in the activities room. My priority was their safety. I ushered them out with one arm, swept them out to the door, put my left shoulder under Luciano's armpit, took 2 steps backwards. He was a lot bigger than me, and he battered Darren Schultz, who was supposed to be hard. I put him down, got my guitar amp, exited the room. I got the staff safe. I shut the door and screamed at them to lock the door. The room needed decorating, erect it. The telly was wrecked. But also, Ross, who nicked David Woodburn's boots, was in a mental state where he asked me what film I was out of, and he had no idea that anybody was entitled to possessions, and he was in a world of bombs and guns. A restraint team came, judge and jury, to get his boots. Now, I tried to get the boots off him. I told John Alley Damien Wilson was getting a lighter brought in. I had the only lighter on the ward. Damien Wilson was throwing fags down on the ground. Ross was picking him up. I wanted to pressure him. I'd undone about 6 knots. 3 nursing assistants said you'll get medication if you do that again, but it's not a mental issue. He'd nicked some boots, and I can stop a foot. And there'd have only been one bastard on the ward if they'd have left me to it. As it was, everybody was a bastard. A restraint team of about 18 come. He moved his foot to John Alley. Catherine Robinson courts the boots of him. But it's not a mental issue. He shouldn't have been sent to seclusion. They were judge and jury. They should have dealt with the mind. It's not compassion. I would have got the boots, and I don't mind being his enemy as long as he had other friends. And the staff shouldn't have been the role of the enemy. They were uniforms. He was in a world of bombs and guns. He was in a war film. Compassion. It's about sharing feelings. I understand what it feels like to hallucinate Satan. I've been sparked with acid twice. I was very unsettled. Dr. Ahmed asked me if I knew about patients. I said, I know more than you. I spend more time with him. Dr. Ahmed didn't witness that. He read it on notes, sterile. The notes were bigoted. And narrow-minded. And discompassionate. Ross got sent to seclusion. He was a broken man when he came. A hospital is supposed to be therapeutic, a place to diagnose, treat and prevent problems. They created a massive problem for a man that was already frightened. They frightened him more, as did Luciano when he thought he was possessed by the biggest motherfucker of them all, Ursula. He said that because he was frightened. It was a defensive mechanism. They got an army to him. This should not happen in hospitals. I was told, let us do the job. Goering said that probably as well. '21, 28, 29, 30.